You might be one of those people who's incredibly angry at Pope Francis or celebrating him as the gay patron pope. And I'd like to make sure that there are some clarifications, because while there's going to be a lot of personal feelings and reactions, we have to look at this theologically, not politically or sociologically, but theologically. And the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops said in a statement, "The Church's teachings on marriage has not changed, and this declaration affirms that while also making an effort to accompany people through the imparting of pastoral blessings, because each of us needs God's healing and love and mercy in our lives, the declaration is not a matter of doctrine as such, but a practical response to encounter and encourage people in their response to the movement of God's grace." You see, there is a difference between a sacrament, a sacramental, and a blessing. And what the Holy Father said is that we can bless people, not their unions. It was very clear that we should not make it look like we are affirming or recognizing as valid and good a same-sex relationship, because we can't. That is contrary to God's law. And so what I want to do is make sure that we have some distinctions, because we truly are a church that are made of sinners as well as saints. But in this sinfulness that we have, are we still not allowed to experience God's blessing? I mean, this is kind of no different from when people come up to us and ask for a blessing at communion. I don't know why, but they just want a blessing at communion. In the same way, if I see someone on the streets who's doing drugs or even a prostitute, I sometimes try to offer a blessing for them. We have to be able to know, that gay people are not our enemies. As such, how are we supposed to treat them? Obviously, with truth, with conviction in our Catholic faith, but also charity. So what does that look like? Can we offer them a blessing? Yes, because it is different from a ritual, it's different from a sacrament, it's different from a liturgy. But I know that people are still going to be confused, so maybe this might help. For example, in the Greek church, there's something called the antidron, which is bread that is left over from the sacrament that is not consecrated, but they bless it. And anyone can receive that. They can't receive communion, the sacrament, but can they receive blessed food? Yes. In the same way, when someone actually prays a blessing over a loaf of bread, it ain't a sacrament unless it's a priest doing it. And guess what? It's still a blessed piece of bread. And if you are eating with sinners, are you going to be willing to pray with them? You see, I think that there's a tendency in something like this to take two extremes. You'll have liberals who are pro-LGBTQIA plus people who are celebrating this and saying, now the church is going to bless gay marriages. That is not true. In the same way, on the other side, you're going to have people who are going to literally be tempted to become Pharisees. They're going to want to follow a law and make people feel like God doesn't love them or meet them where they're at in their sinful life. And that is not true either. We have to remember that I'm not trying to compromise. I'm trying to approach this theologically and pastorally. I met some people who are very serious Christians, but they think that as a Catholic, that I am part of a church that is known as the Whore of Babylon. It was very hurtful to me, especially since I just asked them, maybe we can pray together the Lord's Prayer. That's a biblical prayer. Can we pray that prayer together? They said no, because it would be contrary to their understanding of Christian faith, that I am somehow using the words of the Our Father and making it a mockery. We can't approach a struggle of homosexuality or a gay couple in that way. I think the church, and I'm grateful that we're having this conversation, even if it's a difficult one, but conversations can lead to conversion if we invite God to be a part of that conversation. I'm just going to leave you with this thought. Every saint has a past. Every sinner has a future. And God can bless a sinner in the same way Ananias blessed St. Paul, who killed the first Christian martyr, St. Stephen. And look at what that did. It created as a seed an opportunity of grace to turn his life around and to follow Christ more seriously and more deeply. This is what we're trying to do. Everyone has to run the race, but not everyone has two healthy legs. Some people in the race really struggle. Can I pray for them in their struggle to run the race? Because ultimately, my desire is to help get people to heaven. And guess what? That is something worth praying for, and that's the blessing I want to offer to everyone.